Yep, I think so. I think it's
Okay.
going.
We're recording.
Hello and welcome to the Heresy Lodge. I am your host, Dylan Cooper, their constant co-host over there.
Gavin Franklin.
As he's fucking just chugging his beer. He's excited to have it. His girl made some magic happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go into it. Give
I'll
me your
go
story
into it.
again.
I didn't know if you wanted, last week, 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, I gave this really good, nice segue into I'm doing really good with the segues where we can go in and be like, oh yeah, our Twitter, hit us up. So I was waiting for that, but I'm going to go into the beer because it is important to me today. I found the best beer I've ever had here in Colorado from a very small brewing company called Dead Hippie Brewing. It is called Gun Barrel Gold, and it is a Belgian strong. That's what it says.
I'm convinced.
I gotta say, so what happened was Katie went there while we were filming our last podcast episode, and she went in as soon as they opened. They didn't open until 4, and she asked for this beer. He's like, well, we don't have that, the keg's empty and we're not going to change it till tomorrow. And she was like, well, my boyfriend does a podcast and he likes to review beers on it. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll see what I can do. He goes back.
Little does he know, we have 3 listeners and they're all your mom.
They're all mom. If you're listening, Gun Barrel Gold is fantastic.
10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what I'm drinking today. Do you want to go into yours? Do you want to tell them what this episode's about?
I'll go to my beer before we go. Sorry, my drink before we go into what this week's episode is about. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, anything in between, guess what?
Your favorite?
All the way from fucking Christmas time, one of the wines I didn't drink, we got from my 12 Wines of Christmas wine collection, the California Rosé.
Wow.
From Drummers Drumming.
We're both having a really great drink. Like, I am so excited for you. I mean, first you had...
It has that rosé scent, the nice floral.
Oh. Oh, no. I'm actually very excited. Speaking of wines, I'm going to be in Napa Valley.
Yes, Napa Valley, the home of the pretentious.
Oh my god.
I don't know where I'm at right now. I'm in a weird place. I've been drinking all week.
We got to put you down.
All right, guys.
What's this episode about? Who are we?
I thought it was just us
Why
drinking.
are we talking? What is this?
I thought we just hit record and that's what we did. Isn't that our podcast?
I thought we were going to be doing something like War Without End.
I wish a war would end.
I wish.
So yes, review part 1, War Without End. Last week for you guys, we talked about the first book. We didn't go into the second one, did we?
Oh, we actually did the first 2.
Okay, so we did the first 2. We talked about the prequel of Vengeful Spirit again, and we talked about how the Space Wolves don't want to hang out with the Imperial Fist. And I understand.
I get it.
So this week we'll be reviewing the next 8, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where we're at. Before we get too far into things, hit us up on the Discord. It's pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. You can always email us at theheresylodge@gmail.com. Also, feel free to hit us up on DMs. I had one guy hit us up on DMs recently. Just shooting the shit. It's fun. Do that. Yeah.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Somebody DM'd you?
Yeah, we've been talking about the boys.
Man, I wish I was cool enough to get DMs. Dylan runs all of our accounts, unfortunately. Actually, it's fortunate. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin has all the passwords. He just doesn't know how to sign it.
Good. That's true. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, you can always email us as well at theharrislogicshow.com. I don't remember if I said that. YouTube, hop on there, like, subscribe, hit us up in comments.
Dislike.
We're always available. They got rid of the button.
They got rid of it. Oh, that's right. I'm so behind the times. I've got. Leave us a negative comment. If you can just comment dislike.
That's even worse. You really don't like it when you spell it out.
That's a lot of effort. So, like you said, last week we did the Divine Adorantis, which is a very Graham book. There's a lot of sexual energy, sexual tension, and sex.
With your sister.
Not with my sister, but
it might have been.
I hope not. Hal of the Hearth World. We talked about that one. And now another ADV book.
Yes, Lord of the Red Sands. We get Angron. We get Isfan 3. And we have the ideals of Angron.
The ideals. So Angron, he's this character that had the nails put in his head. That's true. But in this book, it talks about why one of his sons asks him why he decided to side with Horus. And Angron explains that he was a slave, and now he is a slave. But at the same token, he's always been a slave.
Yes.
Like he is always fighting for freedom, which makes him not a slave. And it kind of mentions that he's like, I don't really support Horus. I just don't support the Emperor, is basically what he said.
Yeah, and I mean, he has a point, right? I mean, we talked about this in the preview too. I mean, the Imperium is also slavery.
Yeah. I think an interesting point that Angron brings up as a character is like, what if the Emperor just kind of fucked off?
I mean, he does, right? He does fuck off.
Yeah, but not in a good way. Like, what if like he went to Angron's planet and Angron was like, "Nah, I don't want to go to space with your space army that you made for me." And the Emperor was like, "Fair enough. I don't know you. You don't know me. Why would you want to join the space army that I'm But no. And Angron's like, "Wow, that piece of shit really just kind of took me after I said I didn't want to go, and I'm gonna kill him for it." Fair enough. Like, kind of fair, you know?
Yeah, especially since like on other worlds he helped.
Yeah. The whole Mortarion and Angron thing make no sense to me as why the Emperor didn't help. Other than the fact that we discussed previously about the Emperor's intentions, where I believe that there were Primarchs the Emperor already knew were bad. And I think he already knew Angron was bad.
Well, I think the way, like in Aegon's case, I think he just like he wasn't the perfect being anymore with the nails.
I actually thought about this. I don't know if I was reading or if it was while I was reading the short story or watching a YouTube video. I would love to see a 40K timeline story in the future where Angron loses the nails in Demonhood. Or even like a short story where it talks about a potential future with Angron not having the nails. I think it would be really awesome to see him be like ruling, not with the Imperium, because I don't think he would choose to do so, but also not enslaved to chaos, because we know like he's kind of enslaved himself again. Like he is now a slave trying to escape slavery. He's permanently enslaved to Khorne, essentially.
Yeah.
He's a very tragic character because he spends his entire life running from slavery and the concept of slavery. And he just never makes it.
Yeah. I mean, not only was he a slave on fucking Dacia, slave to the Emperor, he's a slave to the nails, slave to Khorne. I just try to say corn and carn at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's interesting if we look at, because he could kind of argue that every Primarch or Space Marine is a slave. I think that's flawed logic. I think there are Primarchs that are slaves, and it all boils down to like what they wanted. I don't think Gilliman is a slave.
No, Gilliman has his 500 worlds.
Yeah, like that's what he does. Like that is his life. I think Vulcan is a bit of a slave though. And I think we'll see that a little bit in the like
Artifact story.
Siege of Terra. Yeah, and in Artifacts. We can talk about that too. Because like he's kind of like built a certain way, wired a certain way, and he can't like he's made for a very specific purpose, and the Emperor utilizes that essentially. And I think that it's interesting because like we can go back to Gilman even like is it Gilman a slave to how he was created? We all are in a sense, but
Yeah.
I think the big difference is like Angron is actively choosing to defy things that he doesn't support. And I think there are Primarchs that were slaves. I think like Alfarius does what he wants. I think the Night Hunter is like he's figured that shit out.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he wants.
He knows what he wants and he has a good time. He's really fucked up. And he just likes being really fucked up. But I think the character of Angron is really smart because Angron has enslaved himself, and it really does make you think of like all these other Primarchs are really enslaved to their personalities, who they are, their beings.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just kind of going off that too, before we get into artifacts, since that's our next one, in that it kind of talks about how like Vulcan, like all of his weapons that he makes are like super beautiful and like just badass looking, and then you have like Manuses that are you can tell are just like weapons to kill,
Yeah.
and like Vulcan has this like whole like thing like I don't make what like these things to kill, like I just like doing this. I'm
Yeah.
a fucking blacksmith.
He has a very interesting role to play in the Siege of Terra. I didn't quite know about it. I listened to a bit of an audio portion of a book at one point that was really interesting because Vulcan quite literally was
Lives.
made. Well, yes, he does live. Was made for a specific purpose. Like it was like you're going to do this. Um, very very interesting. So yeah, that's Angron. I like Angron's character. I think he like at the end of the day is a very well fleshed out traitor. His betraying makes sense. Lorgar's betraying makes sense. Rabo on the edge. Magnus makes sense. Magnus didn't even betray, you know.
Yeah, Magnus is just neutral.
The Night Hunter is just literally fucking insane.
Yeah, he's a little bit on the crazy side.
Yeah. But no one in the world knows why Mortarion has betrayed the Emperor.
Because it's Mortarion.
I just dislike his character a lot.
He doesn't like psychers. The Emperor's a big psycher.
Yeah, but then the Emperor was like, "Oh, okay, buddy. Psychers are illegal now."
That's not for me.
Matern's like, "I still hate you, Dad." So that's one of the Red Sands. I thought it was like a cool, very short book. It was 8 pages long. Not that crazy. We have artifacts. Vulcan. This is before. This is why he's going to Isfan 3. Or Isfan 5, right before he goes to Isfan 5. And yeah, we get that like this giant vault on Nocturne that he has of artifacts.
Yeah, and it's literally like thousands of them that he's made throughout the years.
Really crazy, cool, ornate, whether they be weapons, something else, like that's just like a thing.
Yeah, and he's having a conversation with.
I can't remember his name. It's no one we know.
I feel like we should though.
Really?
I think he's mentioned in Deathfire. The Keeper of Things.
Tekel?
Yeah. Cause he has a title as like keeper of like weapons or some shit.
Oh, yes, he is mentioned. He is mentioned. You're right. It's the blacksmith in Deathfire talks about how he's the second best blacksmith under Tekel.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
I was like, I could have sworn like the title was mentioned somewhere.
That's right. Yeah. So this is interesting. So basically, Vulcan is complaining about how he makes all of these, and if they get into the wrong hands, they can be used for massive destruction, which is true. And he is reminiscing on how he should have realized Horus was evil because of the like interactions he had with him. And we get more of Conrad Curtis, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't listen to good Conrad, right?
We get this story basically how Conrad, after, if we remember from Vulcan Lives, um, he had an interaction with Vulcan. Vulcan went to complain to the War Master, and the War Master was like, "Oh shit! Like he beat the shit out of Dorn too." Yeah, this is the second complaint. So they surround the Night Lords and take Conrad prisoner. I did not know this story,
Yeah, I didn't either.
and this was also after Conrad blew up his whole own planet. So Vulcan and Dorn, and I'm pretty sure probably Jackatai was also there. They were all like, yeah, let's fucking kill this guy. He's crazy as shit. And then Horus was like, hold up, what if we try to rehabilitate him? Which sounds like some old school pussy Horus.
Yeah, it does.
So he sends him with Vulcan, and that's actually when, sorry, I had that mixed up. Now, after he sent him with Vulcan to rehabilitate him, that is when they have this like whole mix up from the Vulcan Live storyline on that planet.
Yeah.
Vulcan goes to complain to the War Master, and the War Master at this time is now like, instead of old school pussy Vulcan, is chaos badass motherfucker Horus. No, I was about to say Vulcan.
You said a Vulcan before too.
Gosh. It's Horus. It's Horus. He's all juiced up. He's not as juiced up as he is after the spirit, but he's juiced.
Yeah,
He's juiced.
he's been juicing.
Pre-dosing, whatever that means. I don't know.
I don't know what that means either.
But and Vulcan realizes because Horus is like, "Oh, that's great. He killed people. Fantastic. You did a good job." Vulcan's like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, I'm not giving you this hammer anymore.
Now I'm gonna take away this hammer because let me tell you, it's a fun ass ride.
Hey man, push that button.
Vulcan should have just given him the hammer.
Yeah, I should have just gave it to him. Like, just push the button, see what happens.
Oh my goodness, that is it's so crazy because, like Vulcan at the time really should have realized that something major was off when Horus was like, "Oh, Conrad's murdering innocent civilians and pushing you to the same." Fuck yeah, that's what I want to see.
Eat shit and die, baby. Let's go.
Vulcan, you did such a good job. Vulcan's like, "Wait, what?" And Horus is like, "All right, stop wasting my time," and then hangs up.
Basically.
So yeah, Vulcan's like, "Wow, I can't believe I didn't see that coming." And then everybody in the audience collective does like a forehead slap. Wait a minute, you didn't see that coming? That was.
You didn't give him the hammer. You saw it coming, dude.
But he tells Tekel. Tekel's begging him to keep some of the artifacts because he wants Tekel to destroy them. And Tekel's like, "Let me keep some." And Vulcan's like, "Okay, keep 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere around that.
Yeah, something like
that. But what's interesting about these artifacts, let's say there's 7. Did you know that? Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but I think I'm going to because Vulcan lives.
Ooh, Vulcan lives.
Vulcan lives. But in the 40K timeline, he's abandoned his Legion, and he has told them that he will return to the Legion once they have collected the 7 artifacts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the 7 that survive, basically the Salamanders are on a constant crusade to try
the Dragon Balls.
Yeah, so literally they're after the Dragon Balls to wish Vulcan back to life.
This makes sense. I understand.
Yeah. So there's like a few things that are mentioned now. I have no idea what they do. I think we may get an idea of what some of them do later on in the heresy. But yeah, it's kind of cool how like those 7 have survived for 10,000 years, and the salamanders are seeking them because they lost them at some point. And Vulcan's biggest fear came true, that the things he made are currently being used somewhere for evil.
Well, I mean, 7 weapons. There's probably 7 salamanders left.
Yeah, they can each hold one.
Yeah.
So there's a guy. Oh my gosh, what is his name? Adrax Agatone. It's a model you can buy from the salamanders. And essentially, this dude, like, that's his job. He's basically Tekel in the future.
Yeah.
In 40K. And this dude's going around like collecting artifacts, but then he wields them. So his model's got like all kinds of crazy shit coming off of it.
Oh,
Like
that's
he's
cool.
got this crazy spear and like just this crazy cape that comes off of him. So he wields some of the artifacts that Vulcan was keeping. But I think they're missing like 1 or 2 artifacts at this point. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. They threw that in there. So that is artifacts.
Our favorite story is next.
Oh my gosh.
Hands of the Emperor.
Oh my gosh.
This one was rough.
Reading about custodes. So here's the thing. The custodes we read in First Heretic that was a fucking lie.
Yeah, they are nothing like that at all.
The rest of the custodes that we read about, they're terrible. Like, they're terrible people. They're totally fine with people getting murdered. They don't give a fuck. I don't know. I think it's weird.
Yeah, it's very weird. So, how the story is, we have the main character is a custode named like Santanak or some shit.
It's the same character from the Blood Games short story.
Yeah, the first short story that we did. Mm-hmm. And it's his first time being like the guy in charge of the watch, which honestly doesn't seem very impressive because they just take shifts doing it. So
whatever. At one point in time, so he's talking to Valdor because what they do like a watch handoff.
Yeah.
So he's talking to Valdor, and Valdor's like, "Let me give you some advice for your first watch. It never goes according to plan." I'm like, "Really? I feel like it should."
Yeah, it definitely should.
Like most of the time.
Yeah, look, we only have like 5,000 people try to break in a day. It's fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure if like the White House that was happening, they would be up in the fucking defenses.
Yeah, like you have this, like, could you imagine they hand off watch to the White House? It doesn't normally go according to plan. I'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean?
Do I need like anti-tank weapons? Like, what the fuck's happening here?
I've got an entire novel here dedicated to what people should be doing during the watch, and you're telling me they can't follow it? They're custodes. They're trained to be genetically superior superhumans in combat, and it doesn't go according to plan?
Yeah, something is fishy around here.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the concept that like people are constantly trying to assassinate the Emperor, like, so what? They're probably humans. Like, you should have a first layer of defense. It should just be some lasers. That should take care of 90% of problems.
The Emperor's fucking around with Immaterium anyway. What are they gonna go fucking try to kill?
Also true.
Like, they're gonna go in the basement and get killed by a fucking demon.
So they're still doing their blood games, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, what happens if someone tries to assassinate the Emperor? Like, it's happening right now. Like, people are trying to kill him in the warp right now. You should go.
And not only that, you guys are also kind of trying to kill him in your own weird way.
Yeah, like, hey, we really need to protect the Emperor by protecting the palace. He's in the warp. Go help him. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he's fucking up some demons. He's been doing it for like 30 years now.
Valdor's like, yeah, it never goes according to plan. Yeah, I know. There's fucking demons coming out of your house. We should address that issue like right now.
Yeah, like we have like a billion fucking Imperial fists. Why?
Also true.
Let's let them walk around and we go kill some fucking demons.
Or just bring the billion Imperial fists with you. Like, let's all go into the warp and just murder some fucking demons.
Just let Malcador sit outside. He can fucking protect the Emperor fine.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Malcador is literally the Lord of Assassins. Like, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure our biggest threat is him, and we take orders from him.
yeah. I mean, think about this. If everyone just helped the Emperor kill all the demons in the warp, by the time Horror shows up, they should be fine.
What I think is hilarious about that, I do think that is kind of funny, thinking about that point where it's like, they're all sitting there worried, like, well, what if this Primarch turns? What if the Imperial Fists are evil? Hey, how about that Malcador guy? He could kill them. No, he's cool. We take our orders from him. Look, he's the master of assassins. No one knows how old he is, and he's super fucking shady and probably the most powerful psyker in the world. Building a random army of all kinds of various legions and stripping them off their collars and making them do his dirty work. No, he's cool.
Dude, Dad loves him so much. He would
Yeah.
never.
But that Rogel Dorn guy, we better fucking watch out for that Rogel Dorn guy out there. I feel like this dude's literally the master of assassins.
Yeah, I mean,
And Valdor knows.
so this could be so much easier. By the time if they just helped out the Emperor, he came out, Horus shows up, and you have the Emperor there, like, you're probably going to win if he's there at full strength.
Yeah, very strange. I mean, I understand Magnus does cause some problems, but like, yeah, I don't know why they're not just trying to just kill all the demons.
Or also, why can't the Emperor just close the door?
Yeah, I don't know how that ends up getting closed. I have a good speculation, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. So I don't know. There's some things. But yeah, very strange. So basically, in the story, this guy goes.
Oh yeah, we haven't even talked about the story.
Yeah, I'm talking about how stupid the custodes are by concept. This custodes goes on watch, and during this time, some Imperial Fist dude is moving a giant floating city.
I was very confused because they kept calling it like a tectonic plate, and I was like,
Yes.
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like a giant plate, essentially, over the Imperial Palace. And literally, this is how the story goes. Hey, we're supposed to move this. Oh, no, you can't move it. You don't have clearance. Oh, fuck you. Hey, fuck you. And then they try to kill each other.
Pretty much. Yep, that's exactly how it goes.
That is 100% the story. You come to find out that the Imperial Fist, Dorn was trying to move like this plate over the Imperial Palace for defense. Makes sense to me. But his request was petitioned by the Sisters of Silence. No. Yes. Sisters of Silence. And so it wasn't approved yet. So the Custodes go and fight them, and they come to find out that like the Sisters of Silence denied the request because they needed to interrogate the miners to make sure there were psychers. And that's why they backed down, because they're like, oh yeah, that would be embarrassing. Like,
yeah, we would really hate for there to be like psychers on this place that we just
Yeah.
let into the Imperial Palace, and not
Right.
the fact that we just moved a giant floating rock that could probably smash the Imperial Palace.
That giant battle we just had with the Custodes, that was necessary, but it would be really fucking embarrassing if like we let a psyker into the palace.
Like I said, it makes no sense that like Rogodorn and Valdor are not holding hands skipping around everywhere they go. Because they're both are in charge of protecting the goddamn Imperium. Like, why are they not talking?
I was just thinking about this. The original short story with this character, Blood Games. Do you remember what happens at the end?
Doesn't he like go into the fucking desert or something?
No. So, well, I mean, that's like the very, very last page. But I mean, like, the end of the story.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He's like in some conglomerate thing and trying to bust this person that he thinks is a traitor. And then you come and find out that that person is a plant by the Imperial Fists.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
they're about to kill each other, and then Dorn shows up, and he's like, "Oh, this is all what's going on? A big misunderstanding." And at the end, they're like, "You know what? This makes sense. We should be bros." And then they clasp hands, and then they work together happily ever after on
They
Terra.
make out.
This fucking book happens, and they're like, "Never mind, we're going to war with each other because he said he had a bigger dick than me."
Yeah. So during all this is happening, there's also still a blood game going on, and there's one custode left. And the whole time I was like, this custode's got to be part of this.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be way cooler than it actually was.
Yeah, I agree.
I was expecting the custode. So at one point in time, the custodes like infiltrate the plate, and there's no Imperial fists for a while. And I'm thinking that the whole thing is empty.
Yeah, I thought so
That's
too. I was like, this is all just a fucking ploy.
Yeah, it would have been really cool. I
Yeah,
would have
like
liked that.
there's not even an Imperial fist there.
Yeah.
It's just it was like a custode just faking it.
They call up Rogel Dorn. He's like, yeah,
Like,
why would I do that?
I would totally ask first.
Yeah, it's really weird. So turns out that this dude was actually on the plate, but he just kind of like jumps in with the squads, which is hilarious to me.
Yes.
Because you think like the most basic thing in the military after an operation is you do like, I don't know, a head count. No one died. We came back with one extra, actually.
How'd that happen? I don't know. It just we multiplied out there.
Yeah, it was very weird because they did say there were no significant casualties. So the fact that the custodes, the best protectors of the emperor, were able to figure out that they just had an extra person. Like, dude, the YMCA is doing that for their summer camps. Like, Jesus Christ. Now I see why the Emperor does not want you with him fighting demons. He's like, no, you guys, you can stay.
You guys are fucking morons. Yeah. All of my kids are morons. You're all fucking suck. Gosh, why did I do this to myself?
Idiots. So this guy gets through, and basically they realize, like, wow, this guy was trying to tell us something. He was trying to tell us that Valdor was also an important target. I'm like, no, he's trying to tell you should do head counts.
Yeah, so we didn't mention this. So they find out that one of the guys that fought with Stentox or whatever the fuck his name is was the fucking guy in the blood games. And he starts attacking Valdor. Like, okay.
Yeah. So he tries to kill Valdor in a bad attempt.
Yeah, I mean, he's supposed to be the most badass custode.
Valdor?
Yeah, so going at him one-on-one's probably the dumbest idea.
Yeah, it's not going to work out. So, yeah, that whole blood game part was weird. And then they were like, the lesson we should take from this is that Valdor is important. And the
Valdor's like, not just me, all of us.
We're all like, wow, what a great like military thing that you guys just did there. You ended up with this old Teletubbies. We're all important. Let's go take a nap.
But the thing is, so like, man. It's not like an Astartes or a human could like mimic a custode because they're different body sizes. Like you would totally tell, like, huh, you're decently shorter than the rest of us. Welcome to the crew.
I think like I would love. There are some scenes that I'd love to see like Servitor just sit in the corner after all this. Just seeing, you guys are fucking idiots. You guys are so bad at your jobs. Like,
Jesus Christ, how is this castle not gone yet? God damn. It's like good that there's big guns here, because fuck, you guys are morons.
Yeah. Dorn's doing you guys some justice because I would take one bullet over one of you guys.
So that is the Hand of the Emperor. Hands of the Emperor, my B.
That's how I feel about the custodes.
So next we have, how do you say this? Phoenician?
Phoenician.
Next is the Phoenician by Nick Kime.
Nick Kime went out of his element in this book. He's written like short stories about the Emperor's children.
Yeah. This was cool. So I talked about this in the preview. This is about one of the Iron Hands watching the fight between Manus and Fulgrim, and this Iron Hand is like on his deathbed. Like he can't get up, nothing, just like watching the battle. Yeah.
One of my favorite lines is in here because, like, in the very beginning, he's like dying, and he goes, "Iron is also weak."
I should have been steel.
Would have solved everything.
You think your sword can cut steel? No.
He comes to realization as he's dying. He's like, dude, like, if I don't have a brain, then it doesn't matter.
Dude, my whole life's whack, yo.
What? Anyway, I'm gonna watch this sword fight. So the sword fight, there's not a lot to talk about. Like, they have the sword fight.
We know who
how it
wins.
ends. Ferris Manus gets beheaded.
He does get beheaded.
I would like to say it does point out that we knew that Fulgrim was possessed at this time and that the demon was in control. I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, because Manus could have killed him, but he hesitated.
No, he didn't in this book, did he?
He did, but it wasn't like described like he like hesitated. It was like he had the upper hand, and then Fulgrim pulled out his sword and killed him, like his other sword.
Yeah, like
but I think it was like implied that it was like a hesitation on like Manus's part.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I think Fulgrim wins that battle. Like I just ended the.
I do too.
Like there's some sort of like Iron Warrior or Iron Hand like enthusiast out there. There's got to be one, like maybe
at least.
Yeah, I mean I can't imagine it's more than 5.
Dude, with how many people suck the lion's dick, I believe that there are people that suck Manus's dick.
I can't. It's weird because it's like they're so terrible.
Yes.
as characters in books, but that's fine. Like maybe you just like the concept. I totally understand. I don't know why you're just not playing Mechanicum.
I mean, I like thinking back, like when we like did our Fulgrim review.
Yeah,
I liked the Iron Hands. I thought they were interesting. I was like, oh, they're like kind of like Mechanicum, but they're Astartes. But I'm like, man, those guys fucking suck. They're the worst. Like the whole concept's dumb.
Yeah, you're like, why don't they just? They should have just done the Mechanicum.
Yeah.
So I really do think though that like the whole debate, it's like, well, if Ferris didn't hesitate and Fulgrim wasn't possessed by a demon, then I think Ferris would have won. I don't think it's true. I think Fulgrim just wins. Like that's what happened. It wasn't even like somebody had an upper hand. It's like literally they were just fighting on rock.
Yeah, and I mean Fulgrim's just smarter.
He is, and like Ferris Manus, Fulgrim is predictable because he does whatever he thinks is the right thing, but they're fighting the perfectionist. But Ferris is also super predictable because he's just really angry for no reason.
Yeah, he's like Angron, but he has no nails and he has iron hands.
Exactly. I think both of them are mediocre at what they do. And Fulgrim's just a little less mediocre. Like, Ferris Manus does the whole iron thing, but the Mechanicum does it better.
Hey, man. Fulgrim's a great lover, I'm sure.
No one loves like Fulgrim. I would think, I don't know, I feel like Vulcan would be a very tender lover.
Oh, yeah, he'd be very tender. That's our next list. Who are the best lovers of the Primarchs?
I'm gonna tell you right now, the lion would be selfish as shit.
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Depending on who you are, Conrad Kurz will be first or last.
I feel like Fulgrim would be first or last.
I don't know, man. I bet Kurz does some shit.
I'm just saying, like, man, those Emperor's children are weird as shit. But so is Kurz. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you. I just think that if you're into like some weird EDM shit, like Fulgrim's gonna give it to you, and so is Kurz. But Fulgrim is gonna do it to an extreme that is.
Fulgrim's he's gonna bring in the toys. Kurz is like if you have a rape type of fantasy,
Oh man.
And you're into that, or you're
got dark.
not, and there's no
Got
one.
weird.
It's the Night Lords. It has to be dark.
Yeah.
He's like, what's it called? Smut?
That's like a smut book.
What?
I don't know. Like a smut's just like dirty.
I thought that was like blood and shit.
No, I don't know what that is, and I'm glad you don't know it off the top of your head.
I thought it was smut. I don't know.
I've walked in on some weird shit that you've watched, sir, but I'm glad it's not that.
Hey man, never watched the horses.
The horses?
Oh, you told me what you were into.
oh yeah, sure. Oh wait, no, wasn't that Porterabo?
Into horses? Maybe.
Oh, I don't know. So
that was sidetrack.
That was a big sidetrack. So
Our all-time favorite story is next.
Oh my gosh, Sermon of Exodus. This is so good. This is so good. I almost want to read an excerpt from Sermon of Exodus. Go for it.
So whenever I first started reading this, I don't know if I mentioned this in the preview, but like I was like, oh shit, this must be like Typhus or somebody, like, or Astartes, like embracing chaos, because it talks about like this person that's like bigger than everyone else there. And then it turns out to not be. It's just this fucking weird motherfucker dude who I don't care about.
Dude, this whole book, this whole story is just fucking crazy. So we talked about this a little bit in the preview. It's essentially one of the Davinites, the prequel of Damnation of Pythos. He goes and gets the blessings of the gods or whatever on Davin to take his ships and take them to Pythos and have some weird like culty worshipping shit. We didn't need this story. We knew kind of what it was like. But the whole time he's like hallucinating and dreaming and doing some weird shit, and like it's really hard to follow because it's hard to understand. It's just everywhere. Like, listen, I'm gonna read you some excerpts.
And there's like random things like,
Does he feel power now? Yes. Yes. Wait, say the echoes. More, say the echoes. Says his fate, growing louder, stronger, on the verge of transformation. He waits, motionless, arms outstretched. And I'm just like, my God.
I'm glad I didn't listen to the fucking audiobook of this.
I didn't either. I'm sure it would have been terrible.
Everyone would be like at the airport, like looking like, what's he listening to?
Oh my gosh. There's like all kinds of crazy shit. There's different lodges. At one point, a great hammering.
Like 4 or 5 different ones I had no idea about. Like the Lodge of the Dog, the Echoes. There's the serpent that we know of.
But the Echoes is like the prime one.
Yeah, I don't understand any of it.
He gets to like the Lodge of Echoes, and he's like literally the conversation he's having in his mind is like, there's no door. When Horus went to the Lodge of Serpents, there was a door. I wonder if this building is a god. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
And then at one point, it's like, my echo. Where's my echo? What are you talking about?
Echo.
What the hell is happening right now?
It's insane as shit. I'm listening to this. The beat of the lodge is in the special echo too. Cyrake's echo. The name so large and must be carved out of the spirit, one sound at a time. A great hammering, Kasira strikes the choir. Da, 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 da. What the fuck am I reading? What are you saying? I can't follow along. Like,
man, I was at the airport when I was reading this. I was like, looked around after I was done. I was like, all right, I am not an idiot, I guess. I'm still here.
I think like at the end it's supposed to spell out Madale, which is the demon.
Yeah.
Like just hearing
E.
Da, 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 da. like mad? Are you mad? Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh.
It's so bad.
Can
They
you
just keep
imagine
making
listening to the
noises.
audiobook though?
Ah. I'm like, what is this?
It's like a fucking like children's book when they're trying to get you to like pronounce letters.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
That was a rough
I
read.
can't even like go into the description. The priestess is there. That's it. Like the other lodge people are there. At one point they have an entire battle where there's like hundreds and thousands of people fighting to the death in this pit. And then this
I
god is
had no idea
summoned.
what was happening there.
This demon was summoned. It's got half a crab leg and half a sword leg, and then its face has 1,000 eyes.
Yes, that's about right. Yep.
I'm like, cool, yeah, totally.
Yeah, this makes
Fucking
sense.
weird.
Sermon of Exodus by David Anadale. He apparently he was only allowed to write Damnation of Pythos, and everything he's written since has to be somehow connected to Damnation of Pythos.
Yeah. Oh, this book.
I think he does a book that we have upcoming.
Oh, really? I thought he only did Damnation of Pythos.
No, he might be doing. It might actually be Pythos that he does. Let me see.
Pharos, you mean? I hope it's not
Pharos.
Pythos. Damnation of Pythos. Pythos.
He does.
Guy Haley does Pharos.
I could have sworn.
Yeah, I don't think he does anything else. Oh, David at Ruin Storm.
Here we go. Yeah, Ruin Storm. Oh boy, the continuation of Vengeful Spirit.
No, that's Wolfsbane.
Oh wait, you're right. I think this is the end of where Ruta Gilman, Lionel Johnson, and Sanguinius have abandoned the Imperium Secundus and make for Terra.
Ah, way to spoil it.
Bringing the prisoner. Wait, holy shit! This is so spoilery.
Ah, well, don't tell me they have a prisoner. Son of
Or
a
they have to
bitch.
traverse the Ruin Storm.
I'm assuming, if I were to guess, as stupid as they are, the prisoner's probably Conrad Kurz. I would have just killed him.
No, you gotta take him to Dad.
Apparently, like Daddy's gonna be really mad at you. And they get back to the Emperor, and he's like, "Oh no, that's some dope shit. He killed how many? He fought how many Primarchs? Dude,
Holy shit! Wait a minute. He's fucked all of you up. He's not even that good.
I was thinking about killing that guy. Like, wow, you guys suck.
Damn, how did Horus get him? Fuck, I should have been nicer.
So, next story.
My favorite one.
By the Lion's command. Oh yeah, this was awesome. So we get to follow Corswain, who we know absolutely nothing about because we have had no Dark Angels storyline with Corswain in it, other than a few short stories where they're like, "Hey, Corswain's important," and I'm like, "Sure, I'm taking your word for it."
Was Corswain? He was Terran, right? Is not part of the original Knights.
I believe so.
I find it interesting that he talks about the circles then, or whatever the fuck they're called.
I mean, I think that's just like teachings now in their Legion.
Maybe.
It depends on where he came. Like, if he's from Terra and he was there when the line was discovered, it would make less sense for him to be like all about the teachings. Because every person from then did come from Caliban, I would say. I don't know. It's interesting. No, it's not true. Some of them did continue to come from Terra. But, like, if you remember reading Scars, the Terran-born Marine, he would go...
Oh, Corswain was born on Caliban, but was not originally one of the Knights of the Order. Because of this, he was uniquely placed to bridge the division between the First Legion, between the Terran-born and Caliban-born Astartes, during the reformation of the Dark Angels under Lionel Johnson leadership. He was groomed to serve not any one host or order of the legions, but to command the respect and knowledge of all of his Astartes.
Well, he fucked up. He did not do his job.
But he did a better job than Lionel Johnson did.
That is true. You can't go anywhere but up from there. So this story follows Course Swain, he was commanded by his Primarch to go meet up with Lehman Russ. And what I find very funny about this is the exact description is to tell Lehman Russ what he did, like what the lion did. And I can just imagine the lion is like, oh, Lehman Russ, I can't wait to tell him about all the shit I've done. You, 300, go find him or rag for me. Tell him I'm the new War Master and Imperium Secundus. And then have
also,
him come in.
don't mention the part about me giving Porto Rabo those siege engines, please.
Or getting beat up by Conrad Curse a couple times. I think do that out.
Yeah, man, I gotta be super cool.
But just go. I send a convoy every couple of years to go tell Russ all the cool shit I've done.
That would be beautiful.
Sir, we're in the middle of a war. You know, this is way more important. Trust me. It's literally what I live for. It's kind of my only leisure. Is knowing that every 2 years somebody shows up. They're like, "Hey Russ, you suck ass. Line's better." Like I love that.
Yeah, same.
So he's on his way. They come across a Death Guard contingent fleet. And one thing that's very confusing to me about this book is basically it has a flashback to where they're trying to figure out what they're going to do about the Death Guard, and they're also close to Caliban. So he decides in that flashback that he's going to split his force that he already has. One half, which is going to be enough to handle the Death Guard, will chase the Death Guard, and the other portion will go to Lehman Russ. But then when he arrives to fight the Death Guard, he's like, well, shit, my ships can't handle that. I'm like, well, that seemed like a really dumb move on your part. Did you not do the calculations correctly on like how many ships you would need? Because you seem very confident that you could take them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed.
So that was a little strange. But he tracks the Death Guard down to this planet that is actually neutral. We've seen a few neutral planets previously.
Yes.
Most of them were actually in Nemesis, I think was the big neutral planet. Dagnet.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Well, there's a civil war going on there.
Yeah. But here you have a completely neutral planet. And basically, Course Wayne is attempting to get the president to help them. And it's really interesting because the president lays down some really good points. You know, he's on the comms with Course Wayne, and he's like, listen, like, Horace started this shit. Like, both of you guys are terrible. Like, I'm just going to be independent because I don't want to deal with Horace's treachery. If I shoot Horace, then they're going to track me down and murder me. It's like, you guys are going to protect me. If I shoot you, you're going to seek vengeance. It's not like Horace's side's going to protect me. And you know what? He's absolutely fucking right.
Yep.
So basically,
and they're just humans. Like, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, like they're not Astartes.
No, either way, they fucking lose. So,
of course,
Wayne makes a good points though. Like in his argument, he's like, so like, you don't think like either way, like the Death Guard won't come down there and kill you? He's like, I don't know. I fucking hope not.
Yeah, and also Chris Wayne does argue the fact that like you're gonna sit here and let other people decide the fate of your planet eventually, because like whoever wins is going to do something to your planet. And it's very much so like a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But also the guy kind of like indicates like this is like a family feud that he doesn't want his planet to get mixed up in. So Course Wayne kind of positions himself on the planet's orbital batteries. So as the Death Guard approach, they get within range of the orbital batteries. And basically he's just trying to convince the president to help him with those orbital batteries the whole time. And finally he does. Kind of breaks through this whole indecision. He's like, oh, you're making a bad choice. You're being indecisive. It's just as bad as choosing a traitor, yada, yada. So the president opens fire on the Death Guard. There was a bit of a gambit from Course Wayne, essentially. Paid off. But the ending to this was very interesting to me. There were two things that happened at the end that I thought was interesting. One more so than the other. We know that he's sending part of his fleet to Caliban. That's going to be very interesting, I think. But what Course Wayne does on the planet, I think is very cool. Or not cool, but like interesting plot point. Remember this?
When he wasn't sure they were going to even fire, that he was ready to fight.
So after the fight, he's talking to his captain, and he's like, "Oh," the captain's like, "Oh, you're going to like you're going to like protect this planet now?" Of course, when he's like, "No, I don't give a fuck about this planet.
Oh yeah.
I don't shit about these people. I'm just gonna steal their ships."
Yes.
And I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like the president was definitely right.
Yeah.
Like Corswain did not give a shit about these people. He's not going to protect them. He's going to steal from them for the Imperial Army. Like it benefits them not at all. Like just the fact that the legions showed up screwed this planet.
Yep. But
and
I think we kind of talked about the end part too, where they're asked like, because he's like, I'm gonna take the ships and we're gonna go pick up like 7,000 Astartes. Like, where we're gonna get 7,000 Astartes from? He's like, Caliban.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, so we know from Fallen Angels that Luther has turned towards chaos.
Not Horus, but chaos. I think Horus is like maybe an ally to Luther.
I don't even think that. Like, I don't think like. I think they're using like the betrayal of Horus as like a guise to be like, look, everything isn't like we don't have to do this. We've been fucking left here. The Lion doesn't give a shit about us. Well, let's do our own thing.
Yeah. Yep. I also in this book that I think is very interesting. We do get like a past conversation between Corswain and the Lion, where the Lion is talking. Corswain's like having this difficult debate because he's like, well, shit, like the president's making good points. Like this definitely sucks. I'm totally gonna steal his ships. And he has this flashback to the Lion. He talks about how there's a lot of difficult sides. Like it's not just Horus, it's not just the Emperor. People are choosing all kinds of different things. Corswain's like, what are you talking about? Like there's only Horus, there's only the Emperor.
Yeah, this happened in that short story actually.
Was it the same conversation?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this conversation. Where the Lion's like, well, what about me? What about the Legion? Who do you pledge your allegiance to?
Yeah, I was one where we're like, man, the Lion's such a little bitch.
Yeah. It's like, would you pledge your allegiance to me? Yeah, just a bunch of like silliness. But the Lion, I think, also here makes a good point in the sense that like your loyalties are they're just because you're Astartes or traitor or loyal or whatever. Like your loyalties are kind of your own. And he kind of talks about, of course, when he talked about how that blows his mind that there are people or Astartes that may not be loyal to the Primarch or the Emperor. And I'm like, yeah, that's Erebus.
Yeah.
There's Ahriman, essentially, isn't loyal to anyone but what he's trying to do.
True.
Yeah, there's a lot of examples of this where I think for the first time during the heresy, like Fabius, like there's people that are just doing what they want to do, and they're space marines.
Yeah. Oh, and hell, there's even like Narek.
Yeah, like Narek's completely betrayed Lorgar and kind of the Emperor. He's still worshiping the Emperor, so like, but he's for the Emperor, but he's also breaking imperial truth.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck Narek is doing.
There's people that are just kind of living their own lives, and they're Astartes, and they have their own decisions and conscious abilities to just say, well, I'm not going to be completely loyal to the Emperor. I'm not going to be completely loyal to my Primarch. I'm not going to worship this thing. I'm not going to worship this thing. It's interesting. It makes a really good story, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And we actually get Nemiel mentioned because there's a librarian there, and they're like, we don't trust librarians. Like, well, it's fine now. And like, yeah, Nemiel fucking died for this.
Yep. Nemiel. And then, of course, when it's like, shut the fuck up. I'd like to see you say that if a lion was here, you pussy ass.
He really did. I'm very curious to see like what happens when they get to Caliban. And it's like, so the Lion killed your cousin that you're like best friends with because your cousin didn't want librarians.
And then he told the lion no once.
Yeah, so the Lion beheaded his ass.
And then the lion went on a weird power trip and gave sieges to Puerto Rabo.
That also happened. Yep.
Yep. Can't wait. And then Jeff was in the back. I fucking told you. I told you.
Yep.
Dude sucks. Dude's terrible.
Should have made me your fucking Primarch, bitches.
Yep, very strange.
All right. We're at the hour, but
Awesome.
we have a lot of stories left, so I can go into the harrowing.
I think I haven't read the harrowing. If you want to stop here, we can try and make a sprint next
Episode.
yeah,
Yeah, I
episode.
mean, it's gonna be what, 2 weeks for us?
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely finish the book, but
Yeah.
I think the problem is getting it all in an hour. I think we'll have to do our best. We've talked a lot about these, like the Hands of the Emperor, Servant of Exodus, By the Lion's Command. We did a lot. We even talked a lot about the Phoenician. It got really weird there.
Yeah. I mean, worst case scenario, we drag this on to a third episode.
Oh yeah, I mean it's going to be 3 episodes for sure.
Or I guess a fourth, technically.
Yeah, we'll try to avoid that. We know how much people dislike that. I think typically we do a special episode.
Yeah.
So what we might do is just, maybe there's a couple stories left over that we talk about and go into some other stuff.
Yeah, then shoot the shit. Yeah.
Yep.
So if you guys have any ideas for what you want to do you want us to do for our special episode, let us know. So we have nothing planned currently.
Got time to think though. Got plenty of time. By
Yes.
the time this comes out, you'll be in the future.
Yes. So that is the first part of our review. We got like 25% of the way through the book.
Almost 50. Almost 50.
Sure. But yeah, yes, that's it. We'll be back next week for you for our part 2. Always hit us up on the Discord. It is pinned to our Twitter at Heresy Lodge. If you feel like contributing to the podcast at all, feel free to leave us a tip. It is enabled on there. You can always email us at theheresiolodge@gmail.com. Go to the YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Leave comments, whatever. And then we'll be back next week. You guys have a good one.